Okay. Hi, Diane. How are you?
Hi, hi, it's great to be on your show. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. I love the sunflower. Did you paint
Oh,
that?
thank I did. Sunflowers was my daddy's favorite flower. And I started taking some art classes when I was living in Dubai. And when I was a kid, I loved finger painting. So as you can see, it's three-dimensional, and I use my fingers to make the petals. I'm
Oh,
glad you like it.
yeah, it's nice. You lived in Dubai, you said?
Yes, my husband, he's an attorney, and he was asked to help open up an office there in Dubai and Saudi Arabia. So that took us there for a little over 14 years. So it was a great experience.
How did you like living over there?
I loved it. My husband used to be a diplomat when we first married, and I loved being in different countries and culture and meeting people. And so being in the Middle East was wonderful. It gave me an opportunity to be with people from all different types of countries and walks of life and understand and grow as a human being. And also, when you're in Dubai, it's such a great jumping point to get to Africa, where I went to several countries and did humanitarian work. And then you could just pop over real easily to France or Vienna. So it's a great hub, but Dubai is a pretty incredible place to stay too.
Did you find any issues with being a woman and having any sort of restrictions about the way you dressed or anything like that?
Not in Dubai. It's very Western. In Saudi Arabia, when I would go there a lot, then of course you need to wear your abaya and so forth. And I didn't mind that because I always believe when you're visiting a country, you honor their traditions. And so I have several abayas. Actually, I have a whole bunch of abayas, and they're actually kind of fun to wear. So no, I didn't have any problems. You just learn the rules and you follow the rules, and you're just fine.
Well, I think that's the right attitude. I think a lot of times when Americans and Europeans go to foreign countries that really are different than what we're used to as Westerners, they tend to
Mhm.
bring it all with them. And not
Yeah.
everybody, but I see this often. And they end up getting in trouble. I mean, I spent 3 years in Thailand back in 2007, six, seven, eight, nine, somewhere in there. I kind of forget now. But I was teaching English, and there was a story that came out. I'll just tell you real quickly about these two guys who were taking pictures, selfies, in front of like the most sacred Buddhist temples that they had in Thailand, and they were pulling their pants down, showing their butt exposed, and they were arrested because they posted these things online, and the Thai police found them, and they got arrested at the airport on the way out when they were trying to leave. And they said, this is disgraceful to do that to a sacred. They felt it sacrilegious, which I agreed.
I
And
agree wholeheartedly.
yeah, and I mean,
Yes.
I just thought,
Yeah.
where did these people left their brain at the airport?
I
It was
don't know.
unbelievable.
I'm such a believer that when you're traveling, you are representing the country you come from. So when you do something like that and people are not used to seeing someone act like that, they think, they think, oh, is that how that particular type of people are in that country? And yeah,
Yeah,
that's not
we're
good.
all like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I know. It's not
So,
a good image, and it's
yeah,
not a good
no,
representation of America. So I
no.
don't know what
And
happened to
Thailand is
them, but
gorgeous, isn't it?
oh yeah, it's beautiful, and it's
Mhm.
but you have to respect the Buddhist culture, and you have to respect their own culture, and I think it's just
Right.
par for course when you travel. But some people they don't get it. They just.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you're here. You've got lots of books. It looks like, but the one we're going to be talking about is The Little Girl in the Moon. Is that correct?
That's correct, and I have it right here.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually a series, but this is the very first one, The Little Girl on the Moon.
It's going to be a series. Yeah.
Actually, it is already. I have four books out. Ta-da! Here they are. But the little girl in the moon, she's, of course, my imagination. And I love to work with young children and let them embrace their imagination, help them grow their imagination. And so with the little girl in the moon, I wanted to create a book that shares how much kids should realize how much we are alike. We might look a little different sometimes, but just because someone's a little different doesn't mean they can't be your very best friend. So I wanted to figure out a way, how could I write and get that purpose across? Because there are many books out like that, but what could I do differently? And so it dawned on me, with the classroom teacher that I used to be and a curriculum director, that I don't have to paint, because I did the illustrations for this book. I don't have to paint how a person might go be on a swing set or singing or anything like that, because you can figure that out in your imagination. And so what I decided to do was let the little girl in the moon, because she's a moonling, number one, she lives on the moon. So we're earthlings and she's a moonling. And she's going to share things that she loves to do. And she only wished the earthlings knew it. And so the way I introduced her was through the phases of the moon. And then it can be cross curriculum when the teachers are reading it to their students, or the parents can have fun reading it and go, do you see the banana moon? There's a little part of the little girl on the moon. And so anyway, that's a little bit about the little girl in the moon.
Well, what is there to do on the moon? Because it doesn't look like there's much going on there.
Oh, but in your imagination, there's a lot going on. So what you can discover when you go to Moxie Town, Moxie actually is the dog, but let me show you, here's the book right here. The Little Girl on the Moon in Moxie. And so it's Tycho Town where they live. And Tycho Crater is the largest crater that we can see from Earth. And the way you can enter it is you go through, you press this little rock, and it takes you into Moxie Town. And again, my imagination. And there's tons of things to do when you go to Moxie Town.
Okay, can you give us an example?
Sure. So the little girl in the moon, or the moonlings, they love Earth as much as we love the moon. And so they wanted to create, they being the adult moonlings, wanted to create a small town in that simulated Earth. And so when you go into the center of town, of Tycho Town, you'll see a giant park where everybody plays. And then you have the observatory, you have the schools, and you even have, for shopping, that kids love to get for their birthday, is the rock shop. And at the rock shop, you get to buy lots of different moon rocks, because moonlings love their rocks just as much as earthlings like to create rock, purchase rocks when they're going to like the space caverns in Texas and so forth. So that's a little tiny sample.
Yeah, I think Neil Armstrong brought a few rocks back when he came back from the moon.
I think he did too.
Yeah, they loaded up the lunar lander. Why did you decide to write this series? Was there a particular motivation, or just the story just came to you in a dream or something?
Well, I have lots of stories before I came out with this particular one, but I saw in living in Dubai and being with a bunch of, I shouldn't say a bunch, a lot of different cultures, and that I wanted children to love one another. And I thought, what better way to do it than to come up with a series which shared how much we're alike. rather than kids focusing on how they might be different or, I don't care for that particular country. I never even heard of it. I want them to go, well, that's a really cool country you come from. How do you say that again? And so I decided that the little girl in the moon, and we now have a little boy in the moon, and it's morphed into the Moon League Adventure, so that you have the boy and the girl. And again, it's all about enjoying each other and loving each other, even if we're different, and even if we come from different countries. We should figure out how much we're alike and how much we can have fun together.
Well, I agree with you. I think that we need, as a society, to focus on our similarities, because
Absolutely.
the differences are obvious. And we should focus.
You're so right.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I've always thought we did it backwards.
I just think that's probably something that is normal to human beings. But if we just are heart focused and really concentrate that that's the way we want to be, then wouldn't it be a lovely world?
Yeah, it sure would be. What age groups are your books sort of geared at?
So my children's books predominantly, they're up to about 8 years old. The stories, I like to think of them as multi-level, so that how a young child might read, for example, The Little Girl in the Moon, The Big Idea, that brings in Christmas and hope and love, that you're going to read it at one level. They're going to think of, ooh, presents, and ooh, I would la, 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 la. But a parent is going to see in The Big Idea that it's all more about hope and inspiration and bringing peace on earth. And just those words alone have a whole different level of thinking for adults. So I almost like to think that some of my books are really ageless.
Oh, that's great. And all the books in the series are out now and available?
Yes, they are. They're all out, and you can find them on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and you can really order it on almost any local bookstore. So I'm very proud of that, and that includes in England and Canada.
Well, we do have to wind this down. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Do you have a website that you want to give out?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So I'm going to spell it. It's DiannFloydBoehm.com, DiannFloydBoehm.com, DiannFloydBoehm.com. So I always promised my daddy when I was published that I would make sure to include my maiden name. So
all right. Well,
3 cheers for Daddy.
Yeah, 3 cheers for Daddy. Okay, well, thank you, Diann, for coming on.